what strikes me about Bob more than anything else is just a smile. He always has a smile, but along with that smile, Bob is an encourager of people. He has encouraged me in my own personal life several times, but I've seen Bob over and over and over encourage others in his professional career and people just along the way of life that needed a word of encouragement. That's Bob Crafton, and that's what Bob has done for his community. That's what he's done for his family. I don't know how you get much more magical than that, than what Bob has done for others. It's not only always been involved in this community of Rogers, from the, whether it's school board or whether it's Chamber of Commerce or whether it's a local committee, but Bob sings. Bob has always been in the choir in his church, First Baptist Church in Rogers, and he enjoys singing.
Well, when Bob stands up in the church, most people listen to him. He's very well known. He certainly speaks with confidence, but he also speaks and lives his life with humility.
I would describe Bob Crafton as very, very giving, very transparent, very natural. What you see, that's Bob. He has no airs about him. He has a sense of humor that maybe a lot of people don't really know about. He's really very funny, although he can be very serious. Of course, he built a wonderful business here in Northwest Arkansas, which took discipline and a serious approach. But there's a warm, gentle, confident comedian in there as well. He's just a great person. You want to spend time with him. You'd want to go away for the on a weekend trip with him. Oh yeah, Bob and Bonnie are a hoot to be around. They are just something, a great couple, an example for other couples. The love between them is quite evident when you can just see when they look at one another and speak to one another and interact with one another. She has a great sense of humor as well. And when we're all together and they're together, there's a lot of smiles, there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of love. His priorities are like faith, family, community. He always put his efforts into building Rogers. Of course, Rogers was probably under 6,000 people when he first moved here.
He has been a big part of our partnership with the community. We always prided ourselves in Rogers of having chamber support, city support, business support, and Bob Crafton has been one of those big leaders. Bob has touched just about everything in education, I think. His teamwork by serving on the board and then going off the board and then working for the community college, that was a big next step for education in our community, not just Rogers, but Bentonville and the region, and it has continued to grow. And of course, he was one of the founders of the foundation, and I just really appreciate all of his work that he's done for the children of our district, and he's still working because he's on the state board now. And I think that it's people like Bob that are making sure that we have lifelong learners.
Bob Crafton exemplifies the Christian businessman. Look at his family. His family is, they work with Christian things all the time. They're missionaries. But the great thing about Bob Crafton, he doesn't forget where he came from. He cares about people. He cares about his community. He cares about his family, and he's dedicated to being a Christian deacon at his church. Bob and Bonnie are givers, not takers, and that's important to a community. They're just a complete family, and it shows that respect, love, and common sense makes a difference, particularly if you live the life of a Christian, and that family lives that today.
Bob Crafton is a natural-born leader. I would suspect from a very young age he was always the leader of the group. In our church, he's been on every committee there is, and probably been the chairman of most of them on several occasions.
He has the Christian faith that is admired by others, and he stands strong with that. He's a good family man, but he's a good friend and a good supporter. But I've also noticed him in our bank board meetings and other meetings that he has a good conviction of solid things, of things of character, and he stands for those things, and he'll always speak his mind.
My perspective, I give my dad credit for being smart enough to pick the smartest person he knew to go into business with, and that's kind of how I see it as developing. He was always the one that would walk through the office and really get everybody motivated. Bob grew up in a large family. I think he had lots of siblings, and he was the only one that went to school, and it was because of his older brother paid for it. And started at Arkansas Tech and then went on to University of Arkansas, and he saw what that did for him and his family, and he knew that was the key to a prosperous life was having a good education.
Early on in life, Bob obviously went to work for the highway department, and Bob would have been director of the highway department many times over for many years early on. But Bob in the early 60s decided to go to the private sector of the civil engineering side, and he and Mr. Toll moved to Rogers and started their engineering firm. And
One thing that you could always count on out of that firm was quality of work. Quality of work. You never had to second guess about the work that you were going to get. Was it correct, or would they not be there in the long term? It was always about the quality of the work.
They were known for their honesty, their integrity, and their credibility.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Our 2017
Wall of Distinction honoree,
Bob Crafton.